this is like such an honor to sit down with you. And congratulations for being this year's recipient. I know that this must.
Thank you, thank you. I'm still pinching myself.
I want to let's talk about this. What does this feel like? Our Before you actually receive this award, I want to use this as an opportunity to just take this all in before the fanfare. So tell me how you're feeling.
I, you know, it's surreal. I mean, I really don't know another word to fit the feeling. It's so overwhelming and exciting, and it was completely unexpected. So I'm still, processing this amazing gift.
How did you find out? Did they just?
Well, I was at an event, and my manager and uh, Deborah from this beautiful organization said, "Well, we're going to honor you this year." And uh, my manager Valerie said, "Yeah, I have the email." And I just, and then I had to go to a red carpet and talk about this wonderful charity. So it was this combination of all different things at one time, and I had about 10 seconds to kind of try and assimilate it, and then go off and talk about something else, which I guess makes it all, much more fun, because I'm still sort of loopy about it.
I can imagine. I can imagine getting that. Number one, I'm very much in the gestation stage of my career, so just to even observing your body of work is incredibly impressive. I did some of my research, and I, you were absolute delight. I want to let you talk about it a little bit more, but I want to ask you before we really sink into this conversation. This particular recognition from a festival that is dedicated to empowering women in film and television. What does that mean to you personally, where you're at
Oh
in your
my
career?
gosh, it's the icing and the cherry on the cake, because I've been around a long time, and I've watched the progress. I've had to deal with a lot of what women have gone through in terms of breaking the glass
Mm.
ceiling, and I'm so thrilled to see the progress, and but even more than that, the availability to go further through
Mm.
organizations like this, and through um, women trying to help other women, and they've got the power to do that. For a long time, this was always a goal for everyone, but there was no one who had, enough juice to make it happen. And now there are so many wonderful, powerful professional women who are opening all these great doors for artists who need to be seen and heard and appreciated. And to me, that's extraordinary, and really the best part of it all.
Yeah, it's as I observed this incredible body of work. I imagined that must have been such a journey. Even in 2025, there are still so many humps. I find it as a performer. I had the graduation date of the when I graduated from college, and my manager was like, "Careful, that'll age you. People will know you're over 40."
Oh,
And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I forgot about the shame that's supposed to happen when I'm over 40." And I wasn't necessarily taking that on. I'm like, "Oh, I get it. In order for me to work, I need to hide that I'm over
it's
40."
really, ageism for women is far worse than for men. In fact, I don't even know if there is that much ageism for men, because they become more interesting and women become old.
Hmm.
So it's like this really kind of strange thing where I was so young when I did Saturday. I think I was 22 when I made Saturday Night Fever. And, it doesn't occur to you that that's ever going to be an issue, especially when you're very young.
Hmm.
And as I continue to work, and I say, I went from ingenue to grandma, which is great. And the longevity is a blessing. But you start to see sort of how the industry looks at women who are over 40 over 50. And then I don't know if, they write a role in that's a great role and not just, someone that needs to be there to fill the storyline. It's far and few between, but it happens. It's happening more now, I think, than it did. So I'm always grateful when I see a great part for someone in my age range, which I don't know where that is yet, but
It's such a good point. And I even as a woman in her mid 40s, who I feel like just launching in my career, I'm so much more inspired by the generation before me to think, can I have the longevity in the theater, in this industry when my career did not begin at 20? And I jokingly say to my friends when I was a little kid, you know how everybody wants a superpower? And I'm like, when I was a little kid, I always wanted to be invisible. Like you could fly or be invisible. And then I'm like, then I turned 45 and my dream came true.
Not the invisibility you want. No.
Yeah, exactly. But this is a great segue because you mentioned Saturday Night Fever, and I want to make sure I have a clip of this, and I want to make sure our audiences see this clip. And we'll talk a little bit about it after it, but you really created this iconic role with Annette. And for those of you who have not seen Saturday Night Fever, well, you're a disgrace to that. No, I'm just joking. Join me. I know everybody must see this. Like this is like you can't be on the planet unless you've seen this film. All right, we'll be back in just a second. Enjoy this.
Yeah. You're not my dream girl, nothing like that.
You want a dream girl? Well, then go to sleep and have a nightmare.
Hello again, this is beautiful Monty, your delicious DJ. Remind you about the universal. Say all sweet things, but get in line to get the prize.
Like to see a clip of that film, and when like you think back to the time, what stands out the most for you, like stepping back into Annette's world?
There's so much distance, I guess. I'm never great about seeing myself on film until years later. I have trouble watching something that I just did. So now I look at that objectively a little bit more, and it's just so much fun for me to see. Especially the dance. I don't think I could even walk in those shoes anymore. But it is in many ways the statement of the 70s. It's kind of like what Rebel Without a Cause was to the 50s. This is kind of that to the 70s in a sense that it really marks a very definite time and place.
Yeah. Do you think that story, the film in general, would be told differently if it were made today?
Do I think the film is, I'm sorry.
Do you think it would be told differently the way that your character is represented if it were made today?
Yes, I do, because I think there's far too much political correctness, and I think art suffers from that a little bit. So there was a lot of raw emotion in this film, and especially for that time, you know, I don't think studios were ready for that kind of language or that kind of storyline. It was very, you know, it's a dark film. It's a dark film with music versus a musical.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of interesting because they both stand separately in their own right. I mean, the film would be phenomenal as a movie, a drama, without the movie, without the music. And with the music, it takes on a whole other level of being kind of this genius combination of two things that would normally not be put together. And one enhances the other. So I think it was kind of lightning in a bottle because of that.
That's such a great, I love that perspective of it not being a musical. I never thought of it that way. That's,
yeah. It's a very real storyline.
Yeah, definitely. That makes so much sense to me because I've always viewed it sort of as a dramatic film too, but haven't known how to articulate it. So that's a great way to articulate it. And it also just speaks to your range too, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Angie came after this, right? That was late 70s, early 80s. Okay. Mm-hmm. But you do such a great job of like transitioning from that dramatic role to now being in the sitcom platform. I'm wondering if you'll speak a little bit on that.
It's a lot of luck, and it's, you know, right place, right time. I've always loved humor, and the funny thing is, I visualized myself more in that direction. Not that I didn't love the other direction, but I didn't know if I would be perceived to be the right person to put in that. So it kind of happened in reverse, which I was so lucky because people were surprised that I could do comedy versus I thought they'd be surprised if I could do drama. So, you know, I don't know. There's no roadmap. I think I was just really fortunate to have done the film first and then Angie. And to this day, I'm so blessed that I get to do both still. Sometimes I don't get pigeonholed too much.
That really is awesome. I need our audiences though too. I do have a clip of Angie, and it's one of my favorites. So okay. Let's show how Donna transitions incredibly well. You nailed the sitcom platform for sure.
Well, here's your sweetener. And here's your husband. Goodbye.
No, Angie. I know what you're thinking.
No, honey. No, you're wrong. I'm not thinking anything. I trust you, Brad. Oh, Brad, I trust you.
You just happened to come in right at the very
Hey,
moment.
you don't have to explain. I know that there is a good, logical reason for what I saw.
There is.
What is it?
She made a pass at me.
Oh, yeah, she made a pass and you caught it.
No, it wasn't like that. I am not interested in Karen Anders.
That kiss looked interested to me.
Well, wait a minute. Now, I didn't kiss her. She kissed me.
How was it?
Not bad. In case you forgot, I'm married.
Yeah, but I don't look like Karen Anders.
I didn't marry anybody that looked like Karen Anders.
Don't rub it in.
I married some spicy meatball. They're all that I want.
Come on. You mean to tell me you weren't attracted to her even a little bit?
Nope. A lot.
Oh.
There's no contest. Come here, kiss me.
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
I can't.
Why?
I just can't kiss a man wearing lipstick.
Have you seen these clips in years? Is this weird to get
You know, I haven't seen so many. I looked at some recently, and it's just so much fun to see it now. And Robert Hayes, who played Brad on Angie, we're like brother and sister still to this day. And he's so funny. And I see that, and I remember rehearsals trying to keep a straight face because he's so funny. And but you know, it was just this amazing time. Gary Marshall produced it, and he had all the hit shows of the time on the air, and best writers, best directors. Wow, it was just the best time. I'm using best a lot, but it was a really great time.
Yeah. You know, you spoke to this a little bit about like collaborating with other actors. I'm curious, do you still have ongoing relationships? Have you maintained professional partnerships with some of these people that you've worked for or worked with in the last 5 decades?
Definitely. I mean, Bob Hayes and I are still very good friends. Doris Roberts and I, until she passed, you know, were very good. It was really an amazing ensemble. It really, really was. And John Travolta and I did, well, I did his commercial, not the other way around. He did the Saturday Night Fever Capital One commercial.
Oh, that's right. I wish I had grabbed that.
I was the secret person in there that, you know, suddenly he walks in, and it was this really fun kind of Annette Tony moment through other characters. It's so much. As an actor, you know, if you work with people that have the same kind of mindset you do, it's so much more fun because you're developing friendships at the same time you're making a show. And I've always been blessed that way, that so many people I've worked with have become really dear friends for years and years.
I love that. And I think that's such an inspiration to the up and coming generation too, because I think there can be such a competitive, we're taught to have a more competitive thing instead of like a co-creating collaborative spirit. And so I love to hear, you know, from amazing artists like yourself that have had this longevity and how you maintain that and that it's not just about showing up on a set and doing a job.
And I have to say, and I know that, you know, I'll get a lot of flack for this, but you need to leave your phones and your iPads in your dressing room and have some actual contact with people you're working with and conversation with them and focus on what's happening around you. I see when I work now, and I mean, it's a great thing, all the technology. It's amazing. But what it also does is it takes you away from the moment that you're in, because you're trying to do it all at the same time. So you're not giving yourself to the really wonderful moment that you're in. And I find that that happens a lot more now than it used to. So I think the friendships you develop and the relationships that last because you've actually had conversations, and you know, you have interests that you find out about with each other. And also, I don't know, it's just my big soapbox.
I love that. I enjoy being on the soapbox with you. This has been such a delight. I could talk to you forever. I want to ask you a few more questions, and I want to show one more clip because the first time I actually put the pieces together of the longevity of your career was when I saw you on Sopranos, and I didn't know, even though I'd seen Saturday Night Fever, I didn't realize that was you until like I settled in.
I look nothing like me in that, so yeah.
But I loved that character too, and I want our audiences also to see. I believe this was from 2002, but just to get an example, I have clips from Out of This World and Grey's Anatomy and Chippendales, and I can't show all of them, but this is one of my. There's a lot of subtleties in your acting that I find riveting in this clip of Sopranos.
Thank
I want
you.
to show this real quick, and then I have a few more questions for you.
A man took his horse to a vet, and the vet says to him, "Why do you have a long face?"
A horse goes. There's no man.
Right. A horse goes to a vet, and the vet looks at his face, and he says to him, "My friend."
A horse goes to the doctor. The doctor says, "Why the long face?" Can't tell jokes.
More Pinot Gris, Patrick?
No, thanks. Speaking of jokers, where's that other son of yours today?
I didn't think he was invited.
I just thought with all the wedding talk, you know.
No, really. That pal of his, the other Jason. Already ran into some trouble. Carlos Jason.
He's a mess.
All right.
Well, he's got no shortage of lawyers here.
Tell him Patsy needs a refill.
No, don't, huh?
Sit down. Of course, this...
It's so good. I really want to button up this interview by you talking just a little bit about like your career is so impressive, and for the next generation, especially for young women entering film and television, what advice would you offer about building that longevity and staying authentic in the industry that's changing and as you change as well?
Okay, here's another soapbox of mine. With everything changing and everything moving fast, the one thing that does not change is the work, the art, the fact that you are ready to play a character because you have training, because you have the seriousness of making this as good as possible. And that's where the joy and the fun come in. But I think, it's the difference between artistry and celebrity. If you go into this to be rich and famous, okay, that may happen. If you go into this to be an artist and to work on what that is and to get the joy from being able to create all these wonderful characters, and do various kinds of characters and work and all of that, you're going to succeed way faster and better and have more of an understanding of what it means to do this. I see a lot of very young performers now who really don't focus on the work, and but there's many that do, more do than don't, but and that upsets me because there's such a desire to be famous more than to be an artist. So that if you go with the art, I think you have a better shot.
I love that. Yeah, I was having a conversation with a young filmmaker, and her name I will keep anonymous, but there was a lot of reference to content. She kept sharing that when I'm creating content, and I thought, when I talk to the older generation, they talk about cinema, they talk about art. They're not using that word content. And I think that that's part of, we're just creating what will get more likes, more buzz, more, and you're right. I think content pulls away from the art, the word content.
See, I had to for a moment realize what you meant by content, because my brain doesn't go there. And not because it's not a correct word to use. It's because it's not so much in my vocabulary, only because I come from a different school. And now I think it's harder for young performers because of what you're saying. They're so forced to be a part of the social world, all of the stuff that goes on with influencers and all of those things that are happening simultaneously that are kind of becoming so important and topical, and all of the social media that kind of pushes people to go there, as well as train for whatever part of the craft you want to be in. So it's a lot. I mean, people are kind of forced now to do both. But I think ultimately people have a vote in their own lives. And if you want to step back and say, I need to go to class, I can't really do this. Go to class.
I love that. I ask myself as an artist all the time, what is the need of the time, as opposed to just like chasing the next, booking. What do we need as artists to be cultivating and putting out in the world?
I've
And I
always
think,
said that when, I occasionally I'll teach, and I'll say to these young students, who have this huge desire to be actors, I say, it's not something you want. It's not enough to want it. You have to need it. You have to need to do this to be who you are.
oh
So
yeah.
I think that's the lane to get into, and just stay really focused, because you're going to have a ton of voices coming at you. Just stay focused.
That's an incredible button to end this conversation. It has been such a delight to talk to you. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. This has been great fun, and I love seeing those clips.
Oh, I love it too. Truly, your work does inspire across generations, and I can't wait to celebrate you on the 19th. Please join us in celebrating Donna Pescow at the La Femme Film Festival on October 19th. You're amazing. Continue to do amazing work. This has been
We'll
so
work
much fun.
together someday.
Yes. You heard that here. I have that recorded. Hear that, universe?
I'll sign it.
Thank you, Donna. I appreciate
My pleasure.
it.